right, and welcome back to another episode of Catching Colorado. I am tying up a Sparkle Wing RS2 today. It is November, and it's been a little bit hot, but I've been hunting and then hitting different rivers for trout kind of in the middle of the day while the animals are very low activity. And I was actually fishing deckers, and I realized that, you know, these tricos are still hatching quite a bit because of the hot weather. So I had a couple in my box, a couple RS2s, but I didn't have any sparkle wings, and I absolutely love this pattern. So I'm going to show you how to tie it up in my version that you see here. This is a gray size 18. So I'm going to remove this fly here and put a blank hook in the vise. So a size 18 Daiichi 1110 dry fly hook. Find that 18 and 22 are probably my most used sizes. And I'm going to start this with a UTC 110 gray thread. So I'm just going to get that started about an eye length behind the eye of the hook. And I will trim off my tag end here. And then we are going to take that thread back to just about the barb, not too much further down the hook there. Now, a lot of times you'll use mayfly tails, which is made of a very, very thin fiber material. The pattern that we're tying now, the sparkle wing, actually calls for a fluorofiber or a supreme hair or something that's just got a little bit more curl to it. It's not as straight. I find it doesn't mimic it as best as I'd like it to. So I'm using a DNA product called Frosty Fish Fiber. It has a little bit of flash, which I think kind of benefits the whole sparkle pattern. And so I've just taken a couple strands here, and then I'm going to tie it into the back of the hook. And then I'm going to go ahead and come in here and just trim out these tag ends. And you'll notice that I have a very, very flat thread here. It's been unwound. And I do that just so that we can have a very low body profile. I don't want anything too big here. And after I have those two strands, I've left them very long. I kind of am going to separate them out. So I might get my finger in here and just try to, or you can get the end of a pair of scissors in here and just trying to separate these two out. So there we go. We've got those two separated. And I'll lay either end on one or the other side of my vise. And then I'll take the near side fiber and I will just run my thread right inside of it. And this just kind of splays those two apart, just like a RS2 would normally have, and then come in over the top and finish with a couple wraps. That's basically it for those fibers. And then I'm going to cut them about the length of the hook, maybe a little bit longer, but I would say that that's pretty good. Now you'll notice they don't always stay super, super tied together. But I think that gives kind of a nice little character to the fly, gives it just a little bit more tail there. So you'll notice it looks like they have multiple little tails sticking off there, but in general you have two clumps, which is what an RS2 has. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some gray rabbit dubbing, and I'm going to build just the smallest little noodle possible on the end of my thread here. I do not want this to be very thick because we are trying to keep the profile of this Sparkle Wing RS2 extremely thin. If you've seen any of the Decker's trico hatches, these bugs are extremely small. They almost look translucent, which is also why I like the gray, because it kind of provides that translucent look. There's a little bit of dark sections in the gray and a little bit of lighter sections, so it gives that translucent effect. So I'm going to just kind of wrap up the bug here, and we are going to get back to about that 80% mark. So just kind of trying to keep the uniform thickness and get right to that 80% mark, which I would say is right about there. All right, so once you're at the 80% mark, I'm going to take a piece of Madeira here. This is Glamour Madeira, and I bought this from a Joann's. It's very cheap. You can buy it in giant rolls. Here's the roll that I have. I like to cut off a little longer piece so that the braids don't kind of come undone while I'm doing this. And then I'm going to lay that right on top of the hook and just get a measurement for what I want for the wing. I think that's about good. And then I'm going to come in here with one pinch wrap and then another wrap. And what I want to do is kind of just measure and see, is that the wing I'm looking for? And I think that is. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple more wraps and then pull straight down and then a couple more wraps. And what that's trying to do is just really lock that in on the top of the fly. And then I'm going to come in with my scissors and I'm going to trim this excess tag end close, just like so. And then I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to wrap it right over those butt ends just to kind of keep it out of that hook eye. Now you'll notice it's a little bit thicker here on the front of the fly, which is okay. We want a bit of a bigger head on this fly, nothing crazy. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of that rabbit dubbing and I'm going to build up about a 1-inch dubbing noodle, very, very thin, close together, and we're going to build up a bit of a head. So starting at the wing, this will kind of stand the wing up a little bit for you, and then just working my way forward and just building a little bit of a tapered oval head. That's basically it right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my whip finish tool and I'm going to complete a 3 or 4 turn whip finish right behind the head of the fly there and pull that tight. And you'll kind of feel it with this because it's such a small fly. You'll feel it sort of cinch down when you pull after your whip finish there. And then just kind of push a little bit of that back there, nothing crazy. And then just kind of splay out my tails a little bit more. If you need to, you can kind of get on top of the fly here and start to, pull your tails apart 60 degrees or whatever it may be. But that right there, I think, is a pretty great imitation of the RS2 Sparkle wing. It's my little take on it. Again, a Madeira wing instead of a poly braid wing, and the frosty fish fibers, which are straighter than a fluorofiber, but still give you kind of that sparkle look. This fly is absolutely deadly. 18 and 22 are the sizes I normally use it in, but just a great looking pattern and will absolutely catch fish for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. If you guys want to see me tie any other flies, let me know what those flies are, what patterns you'd like to see. Leave those in the comments below. And before you go, if you don't mind subscribing, that would really help out the channel. I will catch you guys in the next episode of Catching Colorado. Have a great day. Thanks for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in more relatable content, you can check out these videos right here. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you can stay updated on our next adventures.